Today I'm going to be talking about what I think are the worst Cartoon Network shows of all time. I'm not going to be doing this in any specific order, it's just going to be several bad shows. With all that being said, let's get on to the garbage. One of the most awful Cartoon Network shows is The High Fructose Adventures of Annoying Orange.
He's orange, he has a lot of friends. They live together on a fruit stand. They have adventures all across the land and even play in a rock and roll band. He's orange, annoying orange. He's orange, annoying orange. He's orange.
This show follows the lives of Orange and his friends. It diverges from the YouTube series in that the fruit gang live on a fruit stand in a supermarket called Danebo's, rather than in Danebo's kitchen. Okay, so I think it's pretty obvious why this cartoon did not work at all. Annoying Orange was an extremely popular web series, everyone was watching it at some point. Cartoon Network saw that popularity and they wanted to make it a show on their network. That is when things massively went downhill. For the most part, the Annoying Orange shorts online were just that, shorts. They were all only a few minutes long, so it was easy to get through. However, this TV series completely changed the format. Each episode is 11 minutes and there were many different episodes. I think this would have been so much better if it had remained a web series. There was actually a short amount of time where I did watch The Annoying Orange, but when the TV show came out and every episode was 11 minutes, I just didn't want to watch it because that's too much. It would become extremely annoying and hard to watch, and I know the point of The Annoying Orange as a character is to be annoying, but still, how could anyone watch him for 22 minutes at a time? It really confuses me how the show did have a decent sized audience, and it's just an example of how selling out can have massively negative consequences.
Yay!
Happy joyfulitis. It's a condition.
I've got a doctor you can see about that.
Guys, I got the ranch dressing!
Ranch dressing?
Veggie zombies hate that stuff, almost as much as they hate happiness and babies.
Next up, I want to briefly talk about the Problem Solvers. This was a completely garbage cartoon, probably one of the worst you'll see in your life. Just taking a look at a few clips, you'll realize that there are so many bright colors. It's not visually pleasing in any way, but then again, style isn't everything. You might have a good story, just a bad style. So does the Problem Solvers have a good story? Absolutely not. The series follows the detectives Alf, Horace, and Roba. The trio take up solving and sometimes creating the numerous problems that plague their town, Farborough. To their aid is Tuck's dog, an extremely wealthy dog who helps the solvers in some of their cases, but is just as often the source of their problems. Okay, so at first it doesn't seem like the story is terrible. Like, yeah, it's not creative at all, but at first glance, it's probably not that bad. Still, the actual execution of Problem Solvers just makes it a bad show. Another terrible aspect to the show is the comedy. If a show is bad, but it has some good jokes, then you can easily watch it and it probably won't be too hard to get through. However, Problem Solvers just completely fails in the comedy department. Nothing is really laugh out loud funny, and if you combine that with the other negative aspects of the show, it just adds together to make one of the worst Cartoon Network shows of all time. And honestly, I wouldn't just say Cartoon Network, I would say this is one of the worst cartoons ever. Please do not watch it. You'd probably be way more entertained if you stare at a wall for 10 minutes.
No, yeah, I'm all set, cause I'm not going.
What?
I'm obsessed with hamburgers now. I gotta eat all these I just made.
Alfie, you need a more balanced diet with exercise and fresh air.
Nah, I only like hamburger air now.
Next up is Powerpuff Girls 2016. Now, what exactly can I say about this show that hasn't already been said? I don't know. Chances are over the past year or two, you've seen at least a few minutes of this reboot, and you can get a decent sense of what the show is all about only if you watch like 3 minutes or something like that. The humor is cringe and targeted towards 2-year-olds. It takes everything that made the original Powerpuff Girls so good and completely ruined it. The characters don't really act like how they would in the original series, and to be fair, if this was a completely original show and it wasn't based on an existing property, then more people would be likely to enjoy it. However, the fact that it's based on such a classic Cartoon Network show loved by many, that just leads to everyone judging it, and if the show is completely different from the original, then obviously people are going to dislike it. I feel like if this was some other superhero show featuring different girls, not Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup, but if they had original characters with a similar concept, I think a lot more people would enjoy that instead of just slapping Powerpuff Girls on the name and then having it pass off as a good reboot, because it's not good, it's complete trash. The last bad Cartoon Network show I want to talk about is ChopSocky Chucks. This show is about a trio of kung fu fighting chickens who live and work in a city-sized shopping mall owned by their archenemy, Dr. Wasabi. Okay, so let me be clear, this show is not as bad as some of the others I've talked about today. It was mostly forgettable, it had no redeeming aspects. That's also why you see nobody talking about it today. It came out in a pretty forgettable era of Cartoon Network from 2008 to 2010, so it makes sense that nobody praises this at all. I just remember watching the show a little and not liking it because the concept is just really dumb. Cartoon Network definitely seemed to be running out of ideas when they thought of kung fu fighting chickens. Not sure what exactly was going on in the head of whoever created this, but it did not end up being a good cartoon. But anyway, that's all for this video. Subscribe for more awesome cartoon videos. Give a thumbs up and comment below, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.